Mike Gregory. I've been with Triple Tree for 30 plus years, and I'm going to tell you a little story about how we got our property at Triple Tree. So I'm sure all of our old timers remember we were having some issues in the Greenville site with Greenville growing bigger and closing in around us, and we had a retirement center next to us that was our next door neighbor, and we had some noise issues with them. So we knew we were going to probably have to find another site. So one day we were all down in Kirby's basement, Pat, Joey, myself, and I think Gene Strozier was there, maybe Bob Johnson, I'm not sure. But Pat told us, he says, "Boys, I tell you what, if you'll go out and find me 1,000 acres of land," he says, we'll get us another site, and we'll build some houses around it, and we'll all be able to be together and have our places there. So it sounded like a good idea at the time, but I'm sure our wives probably wouldn't have agreed to that. But anyway, Pat was going out to Jackson Hole, and he told me, he said, "Mike, if you'll get with my real estate man while I'm gone, go out and try to find us some property." He says, "We need to get 1,000 acres to do what we need to do." And he said, "If you'll do that, then we'll go ahead and build out our little RC park." So I thought that was exciting. I was kind of the new guy on the block anyway, so I thought it was fun. And so I did. Pat went to Jackson Hole, and his real estate man would call me, and I would go out and we would look at property, and we looked everywhere. We went up in North Carolina, we went in Georgia, we went almost to Greenwood, and there just weren't any 1,000-acre sites around. So one day he called me, it was on a Thursday. He called me and he said, I got a site I want you to look at. It's down in Woodruff. Well, I'd lived in Greenville all my life, but I had never been to Woodruff. So we rode down to Woodruff, and we pulled into the property, and if I remember correctly, the road went in up towards where the Davies property was, and we rode up on top of the hill and looked over the hill, and you could see where the owner was taking dirt out, and where the lake is now, where our big lake is, was taking dirt out and selling dirt. And I looked at it, and there was some nice clear area. It looked, it was the best piece of property I'd seen, because all the rest of them he had showed me wasn't going to work. So it was the best thing I'd seen. And I told him, I says, "Well, let me talk to Kirby, and maybe we can all come out here and look at it on Saturday, and we'll call Pat and see what he thinks." So on Saturday, we all got together, and Joey and Gene and myself, and I think Eddie Clark might have been with us, I'm not sure. But we rode out there and looked at it, and when we drove up on about where the Welcome Center is now, we drove up the top and looked over that hill, and Kirby said, "This is it, boys. This is it. Y'all call Pat." So Kirby was all excited, and so it was early in the morning, and Pat's out in Jackson Hole, so that's 3 hours difference. And I don't know what time it would have been in Jackson Hole, maybe 7 o'clock or so, but I dialed Pat, and he answered the phone, and Kirby grabbed the phone from me. He said, "Pat, this is it. We found the property." He says, "You're going to have to come home now." And he got so excited, and Pat seemed like he was excited too. So the next thing I know, this was on a Saturday. Well, Pat either came home on Sunday or Monday, I can't remember, but him and Kirby, I guess, went out and took a look at the property, and Pat made an offer on the property that day to the guy, and I think the next day he actually purchased the property. So that's basically how we got the property, and we all worked real hard, a lot of volunteers out there helping us. We picked up probably 5 million rocks, and we were able to get the Jonal out there pretty quick. And I remember looking at a tape not too long ago, showed the runway, the main runway. It didn't even have any grass on it. It had a little bit of green coming up, but very little. But we were able to get it out there, and with Pat's vision, I think Pat, the first time he saw it, he knew what Triple Tree could become, and he's just got that gift, and we thank him for everything he's done, and I'm just glad to have been a small part of it, and I've had a great time. And but that's how we got the property. And I guess the Triple Tree thing came about because we had 3 big oak trees up where we still have one big oak tree up there above the bathhouse. We had 3 there, but one of them was diseased, and we had to take it out. And then we had another one that during grading kind of got damaged a little bit, and we had to take that out. So now we only have one of the original triple trees. But Pat was able to plant us 3 live oaks out by the gazebo, and they came from Angel Oak down in Charleston. He raised them himself, so we have those now for our triple tree, and that's how we got our name. But I guess the rest is history. But thanks a lot.